There was a very rocky beginning.
We just took over from Armin, and the guy told us no more movements.
You're also a car guy.
Everybody told me like you have to buy a green car, but I just went green for the color, and the engine is a V10.
What was the most challenging movement to make?
But definitely the resonance mechanism. We failed so many times.
There's mountains behind us.
Every summit has its own challenge. You use the ropes, the crampons, the ice axe.
Claude,
Hey Marco,
are you ready for our talk?
I'm ready. How are you?
Let's go inside. It's so hot today.
Let's go to a different place, a more
Why?
quiet place.
Hope it's not hot.
Yes, it's hot.
I see I'm gonna be walking somewhere far away again.
This is what we call like the yodel way to walk, because they always have the hands in the pocket.
So it's a yodeling or what?
That was close.
This looks like a nice spot for us.
This is the place where we're gonna have a conversation, I guess, and some food.
Yes, let's go. Welcome back to the Road to Escapement. In this episode, I'm here with you one and only Claude Greisler from Armin Strom, one half of Armin Strom and one part of a big team you built during the last years. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for the nice exercise. I really appreciate it.
I hope so, yeah.
So tell me, is this how you like decompress? Do you go in the mountains, in nature, or what's your, who is Claude outside the watchmaking world?
Outside the watchmaking world, I love outdoor stuff, definitely. Yeah. I love climbing, I love ski touring, I love windsurfing, I love camping. So yeah, definitely an outdoor guy, yeah.
Awesome. And there's mountains behind us, and you told me you actually climbed those mountains, but like all the way.
All the way up, yeah.
What were some of your favorite ones?
Well, there's many of them. I think every summit has its own challenge. It's the same technique, like you use the ropes, the crampons, the ice axe, but every mountain is different. So that's the challenge.
Do you get ideas while you're in nature and hiking, or?
Absolutely. A lot of my inspirations, they come not because I'm hiking, but the fact is that it's quiet and most of the time, there's not many people talking to me. Like versus in the office, it's getting, as you mentioned, we are now almost 55 people. The daily business is very challenging. We are still in a growing period. So to find enough time to think about new watches is very difficult in the daily life in the manufacturing. There's other challenges to handle. So that's definitely when I go outdoors, and sometimes the summit takes 12 hours, so you have a lot of time to think about.
And the phone is off, nobody can reach you.
The phone is off, yeah.
There's also a funny contrast to you, which I don't think many people know. You're also a car guy. You love mechanics also in vehicles.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what do you drive for when you have the time?
So I have two cars, which are very meaningful for me. I have a Land Rover Defender. It's what I drive up in the mountains. I live up in the mountains. And I have an Italian road car, which I drive here.
Which is green.
Exactly, yeah. Everybody told me like you have to buy a green car, but I think I got it wrong. I just went green for the color, and the engine is a V10.
So you bought a V10 Lamborghini.
Exactly, yeah. But unfortunately, I don't have that much time to drive it. I love collecting stuff, like it doesn't matter if it's watches or cars. If there's mechanic involved, I love to collect them. I just love to see, transparent mechanic. If you just walk by and you see the opening, the window on the back, and you see the engine, that's very cool.
And while we were walking, we spoke about Bill. You told me something which I actually didn't know. You told me there was a very rocky beginning of the company when you took over from Mr. Armin Strom himself. But for now, it was actually a good thing that it happened. So how did the whole idea happen of you guys making your own calibres?
Yeah, exactly. So when we took over the brand from Mr. Armin Strom was focusing on hand-skeletonization, and he was called like the master of hand-skeletonized timepieces. He collaborated with Omega, so somehow he had a good connection with the Swatch Group, and this is how he got his calibres from the Swatch Group. But when we took over from Armin Strom, and we were thinking about, taking over that brand that does hand-skeletonized watches, Mr. Hayek, Father Hayek, decided to not deliver other companies except the Swatch Group brands with movements anymore. So we were sitting there, like we just took over from Armin, and the guy told us, like they approached us and they said, no more movements. And we were looking around what kind of other options we had. But then we realized that we have to, if we want to build up the factory or the brand Armin Strom, we have to be able to produce our own movements. And this is why we decided in 2009 to become a movement manufacturer.
The first caliber you launched was the 8-day power reserve.
Exactly, yeah. The ARM09, which was a double barrel movement with a power reserve of 8 days, the first in-house caliber. Yeah.
What were some of the biggest challenges? Because your co-founder Serge, he's not a watchmaker, right? But I'm sure there was no like infrastructure of creating, no CNC machines, no.
There was nothing.
Did you collaborate with somebody else, or?
We had this idea of becoming a movement manufacturer, and first of all we had to convince, because we were young, we had to convince Serge's father to allow us to invest in a movement manufactory. But I had to find the building, we had to decide on which machine we bring into that building, what kind of people we have to hire, what kind of processes we want to have in-house. R&D and design was my background. The CNC, I collect vintage watchmaker tools, so machining is a big thing for me. I was always very interested in how the machinings are working, so we got some CNC machines. We decided to do all the finishing in-house. That's my background from watch restoration, so I got educated to how to mirror polish, how to do the hand beveling and everything during my degree in watch restoration. And then we went all the way through. We said, okay, let's do the galvanic in-house, let's do the pre-assembly and the assembly, and that's really focusing on the movement, because we knew that the movement will make the difference. Because the case is like the frame. The main focus at the beginning was to be able to master everything when it comes to movement.
So Claude, I have a challenge for you. Since you design, movement watches, I have a pen and paper for you. You will have 2 minutes to draw a watch or a movement, whatever you want. And then you will have 1 minute to explain me the watch or whatever you draw. And how much would it cost?
Okay.
Are you ready?
How much? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Go. And I'm gonna observe your skills, to see how shake your hand is. Not a snowman, a watch.
You will see why.
This looks like a knife clock. I see the anchor already. There's a 20-day power reserve. Now I see why you have people employed, because I think if you make the watches you draw here,
nobody will buy them.
Nobody would buy them. I think we wouldn't be sitting here. So you have 40 seconds left. And I'm gonna look at your watch in the meantime. Reset the date a bit, Here we go. Beautiful watch, by the way.
Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. I mean, I don't think the box was necessary, because I can pretty much see it's a box. So tell us.
It's a resonance box where we have 2 separate movements in it.
Yeah.
And so resonance is a huge box for us today, because we discover so many things and there's so much more to come, so that the new watch which we're going to create, or any new watch, is basically starts from this resonance box. So we see the potential like getting combined with chronographs, with perpetuum calendars. So this is why the resonance for me is more like a box where we have a huge potential which we're going to take to create new watches.
Awesome. And if you would sell this box here, how much would you sell it for?
For you, special price.
Special price.
Special price, always. No, I think this is not. This is more like a attitude, not something to sell. It's not all about selling.
Sure. So don't check the link in the description. You said you launched the first caliber in 2009. We are in 2026. How many calibers so far in total?
25 or 26 different calibers.
Oh, wow.
But we had a bit of Lego Technics approach. So the idea at the beginning was to create components which you can reuse in different calibers. So from a double barrel to a single barrel wasn't that big of a change. So we changed basically the main plate and the bridges, but the barrel, the gear train, the escapement, the balance wheel, the winding stem was always the same component. Yeah. So it was very modular, the way how we started to build up the factory.
And the latest movement was in the 1259 model, which has this on-demand 1259 chime with 4 hammers, nonetheless, which chimes beautifully. What was the most challenging movement for you to make during all these years?
Definitely the resonance mechanism. Because I think when we started to build the manufacturer, we wanted to prove and to show people that we are able to do the standard stuff, like the hand winding, the micro rotor, we had a tourbillon, we had a double barrel movement, as you mentioned, the first one. And then we slowly start to work on that resonance thing. That's a topic which took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of trial and error. We failed so many times, but we were strongly believing because the complication is very cool. Resonance get mastered by only a handful of watchmakers, and there is a huge benefit when you have a movement beating in resonance. The watch becomes more precise, more accurate. But nobody was really like approaching the resonance to solve the problem. The traditional way of doing resonance, they take benefit of the two balance wheels, start to synchronize, but there was no one like really thinking about, okay, how can we create a more optimum environment to be able to have a reliable resonance? And creating that environment, which is the resonance clutch in our case, that was the challenging part. That took more than 3 years to come up with this resonance. That changed the company.
And I remember we spoke about this often because of my piece as well. There was no like blueprint, you know, because if you want to make a tourbillon, there's lots of books on the tourbillon, lots of trials and errors, lots of brands have done it before. But like you mentioned, not many have mastered resonance. So today you are in Biel, that's your headquarters. But how many like different departments do you guys have? Because I know there's in Grenchen or like Lengnau.
In Lengnau.
There's a different building where you create what, which parts?
We have all the CNC production is in Lengnau today. Yeah, because we were running out of space in Biel because the size of the decoration workshop has increased over the last few years. And we also increased the quantity of CNC machines. And so we had to find a new location. And it's in Lengnau. And the funny thing is my grandparents, they're from Lengnau. And basically I became a watchmaker because of my grandparents, because they were already working in the watch industry.
So how does it feel? You know, you grew up in Lengnau, your grandparents are there. Now you have in your hometown, you know, like a factory.
Yeah. I grew up in Burgdorf, where Mr. Armin Strom from, but I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. This is the reason why I became a watchmaker is because of my grandmom, because my grandmother taught us how to assemble and disassemble stopwatches. And so when we were young, we were at the factory of my grandfather had 120 employees in the watch industry, but they were producing spare parts, focusing on the parts production. So now having my parts production back in Lengnau is very cool.
That's cool, huh?
Yeah.
It's like you continue the legacy, basically. So Lengnau and then Biel, where we always come, have a coffee, look at the watches. What happens there today?
Well, Biel is mainly the biggest workshop we have is decoration. As you know, hand decoration is very important for the brand. And then we have the R&D office, we have the galvanic treatments, like the galvanic kitchen, which we use to do the coloring of the parts,
the cooking,
the pre-assembling and assembling. And of course, we also have the marketing and the sales team. They are with us in Biel.
And you've created, you said 25 different calibres, which is very remarkable for what I think is still a young brand, right? Because you started like 2009. So in 25 years, what's your goal? What do you think? What will you be working on?
But it's definitely innovation that drives the company today, because when we realized that we were able to reinvent resonance and to bring a proper mechanism that solves the problem, that opened up a little bit our eyes. I mean, doing this trial and error thing for 3 years showed us of how much potential is in innovation. I think it's cool to look backwards and to respect what we do in hand finishing. But on the other hand, I mean, one of the greatest watchmaker ever was Abraham Louis Breguet, but Abraham Louis Breguet never watched into the past. He was always just thinking about the future, what's next, what can we improve? And this is what drives me, I think, innovation to create better and more complicated stuff.
Yeah. And if you had all the time in the world, which movement would you work on or complication?
I think that the cool thing about watches is that the perfect watch doesn't exist. Because every watch is a compromise. Either you have a tourbillon, but you don't have a perpetual calendar, you have a minute repeater, but you don't have maybe a date function or so. I think the combination of complication is what I'm looking for now. Because resonance has its huge potential is that we have two barrels, we have twice the energy than in a standard movement. So this is definitely, I think there is more to come and more to see with resonance in Armin Strom.
Awesome. Well, Claude, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the hike.
Listen, thank you for the hike. I insisted. So. And guys, join us at the end of November in Abu Dhabi in the Etihad Arena for the Escapement event, where you will meet Claude and many other watchmakers. Link in the description, and thank you for watching.